How you doing, True Royal?
Hmm.
Are
I'm
you
just doing.
there?
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I got it going, so hopefully people will come. They'll come. They'll show up. So anyway, how you doing today?
Um, I'm doing. That's. I'll just leave it right there. I'm just doing. Lord, see. I just got some more information about my grandkids. That's all.
Oh, well,
They out of the country again. Mm,
that again.
yeah, that again. But I need to do the live stream to keep my mind off of it.
Yeah, I hear you. I
Hmm.
hear.
Hmm.
Well, we gonna have a good time talking about and dragging Donald Trump. Yeah, he's on a couple of things, and I'm gonna show it. And he's also walking around telling lies again, and people are fact checking him and trying to correct him. And you can't correct Donald Trump. Once he get on stuff something, he harps on it even when you put the facts in his face, because he did that with that white genocide stuff, you know
Hmm.
and then he showed those pictures of Kilmar with those typed letters MS-13. Oh no, it's real. Oh no, those things are happening. Oh no, that's not Photoshop. And you know
I know. They were talking about that the other day when they interviewed Terry Moran and how he just kept, you know, digging down, wanting to make that so real. He's in another reality.
I think he knows what he's doing. I
Yeah,
really do. I think once he puts something out there, he figured, well, I can't change now. I just got to keep going with it. And
but you
he
look, but
he
he looks,
ultimately makes himself look stupid.
yeah, he looks makes his stuff look real stupid because all people do is fact check him.
Right.
And I like the way Gavin Newsom said it. He a stone cold liar.
Mm,
He go to bed lying. He get up lying.
yeah.
That's all he's been doing all his life, and he's not been disciplined. It started in his childhood, and then he want people to go along with his mess. Now you are a president. You you're in a leadership position,
Right.
and
And you access to intelligence. That's the worst part about it. He
mm-hmm.
shouldn't be putting falsehoods out at all. You got a bunch of people and a whole staff that can you use the intelligence and check everything out.
I just don't understand how a person could work for somebody like that. It would have to eat on you some kind of way. It would have to just keep gnawing on you and gnawing on you, and that you just keep somewhere there's got to be a give, that you know that there's ongoing lies, and then you got to kiss his behind, got to tell him how wonderful and great he is, and it's never enough.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, Donald Trump keep running around. This came out actually a few hours ago. Donald Trump keeps running around talking about Iran. They're building nuclear bombs. They're building nuclear bombs. Well, the intelligence have checked it out to see if there's any activity going on over there. Iran is fighting the war. They are literally not building no nuclear bombs right now because they're fighting Israel. Well, they told Donald Trump, and Donald Trump start doubling down on it. You know
Wow.
how he is. Even when you show him the actual, because Tulsi Gabbard, she actually gave Trump the intelligence saying, no, they are not finding any activity of them building a nuclear weapon. Well, Donald Trump said she's wrong. She's wrong. And she actually had her team fact check this. So he dismissed it and he's now doubling down on it. I said, well, you're a world leader and you won't even accept the truth about, he just runs with so many lies. What else is the man going to do?
Wow.
So even when you give him the intelligence, he rejects it.
Yeah, because he want to make it. He want to make it the way he want to make it in his psyche. And then the other component that people have to understand, when you're dealing with a person like this, then they want to show you it's going to be the way that they think that it's going to be. But 9 out of 10, it always goes south. And then once it goes south, then he gets quiet and go on to something else.
Mhm. So we're going to dissect Donald Trump tonight. Okay. And I'm going to show a few videos, and then we're going to stop in between to talk about the things that
Oh,
are going
I seen this one this morning. This is good.
Yeah, this one is good. Yeah, I got a
Mm-hmm.
couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to talk about a few things, the recent things that are happening. And I got an update on Iran's attack on Israel. Y'all, they dropped 570 bombs down on Israel over the last 24 hours.
Mm-mm-mm. Lord have
And
mercy.
he said Israel is trying to hide the damage. They're trying their best to hide, and they said it is terrible. The damage over there is bad, and they are literally trying to hide it in the media so that, water it down, so to say, oh, we really didn't get that much damage. And you know what? It's not working because people are watching it live every
Mm-hmm.
night, and they know damn well they got to have extensive damage from them bombs falling down on them. So they're
Yeah,
not
think
fooling.
about the people that's experiencing it. Damn. And then you,
Mhm.
oh Lord, this is insane, Lisa.
I don't know how you can hide that, but all
Okay.
right. Please give me a one if you can see my screen. Please give me a one. Shalom, family. Thank you. All right. Here we go.
Spending $45 million on a birthday celebration appears not to have made him happy either. He's kind of pissed off. I mean, he's pissed off at the soldiers. I mean, he's accusing them of hamming it up. And by that he seems to mean that they were having a good time, that they were waving, that they were enjoying themselves and showing a convivial face rather than a military face.
Interesting.
And he kind of reamed out Hegseth for this. Apparently there was a phone call, and he said to Hegseth, the tone was all wrong. Why was the tone wrong? Who staged this? There was the tone problem. Trump, he keeps repeating himself. So that was the word on that phone call was tone. I would interpret that he wanted something menacing, I suppose, something military, like something like, this is the most staggering force in the world, and maybe it will come for you. Instead of, I think it appeared to a lot of people that there was a kind of festive air. Everybody was actually celebrating something. The 250 years of the U.S. military, probably celebrating that more than Donald Trump's birthday. But it didn't send the message that he apparently wanted, which is that he was the commander in chief of this menacing enterprise.
That was author Michael Wolff speaking on the Daily Beast podcast, disclosing that Donald Trump is reportedly furious with Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth because his $45 million military parade was, in Trump's view, a disaster. And why was it a disaster? Because the soldiers were, and I hope you're sitting down for this, having a good time. They were waving at people, they were enjoying themselves, and that made Donald Trump livid, because the whole point of this parade was that it was Donald Trump's entrance fee into the Autocrat Club, where the military parades look like this.
All right, now let me just stop that. The reason why the military over here did not look like that is because, we don't have military parades. Over in places like North Korea, Russia, China, that's all they do. They practice those drills all the time. And they have military parades more often than they do here. So they are marching in perfect precision because they do it all the time. Over here, it's not like that, and they don't march the same way, over here like they do in other countries. And in my opinion, if that's what you wanted, then y'all should have been practicing that for at least the past year to get everybody up to speed. But they were walking out of sync. And to me, it seemed like they really didn't try hard to prepare themselves. And maybe Pete Hegseth did not think that was important. I don't know. But he is so mad. But I don't care about Pete, because didn't Pete want the military to be all white?
Yeah, that's what he wants.
Well, y'all ain't gonna beat Iran with no all white army. I'm just telling you now. You ain't even gonna put a scratch on them with no all white army.
No, it's not an option.
But you want to add anything, True Royal?
Well, how I look at this situation is Trump he felt like he has done such a grand job since he's entered office again that he should be celebrated. And a person like that, say if everything would have went the way that he conjured up in his psyche, it is never enough. It always got to get bigger and grander and all of that. 45 million for what?
For a one damn parade.
Yeah. And I knew it was going to go bad, because when I heard that, this the tension going on between Israel and Iran, I said the parade ain't going to go right. So look at all these. He always pulling distractions, trying to get us to look this way opposed to that way. And look at how Yahweh is putting distractions where he can't even focus on himself. He want to make it all about him, but it is too much stuff. There are some things that are going on in this world that Trump can't ignore. That he's going to have to address. It can't be all about you. All. And that's the joy that I take. That's how I've been analyzing this, that I'm looking at what Yahweh is putting in front of him, and it's like, oh, I gotta deal with this.
You know what?
I have to.
True Royal, they said that even the fireworks sucked. I said, how do you make fireworks suck?
Oh Lord. Wow.
That's bad. How do you make fireworks suck?
Lisa, what tickled me was when they had one of them tankers or whatever going down the street, and I heard it squeaking. I just screamed. I screamed.
Yes. And somebody was trying to say, oh, well, no, some of the tanks are from World War II. Give me a break. You should have known not to send something like that out. That thing was speaking so loud.
Yeah, it was, but that let you know that it wasn't that many people there to exhort. You would have enough noise and
the crowd and all that.
To drown that out. To drown that out.
It's embarrassing. They said these countries, True Royal, were posting their military parade side by side with the Americans, and they were laughing. I said, I bet they were.
The thing that I can say about this president so far, he's making himself look like a damn fool, straight out the gate. And
but the faces of everybody sitting around him, Marco Rubio looked bored out of his mind.
Well, you know what? I never even took the time to even pay attention to Marco Rubio. I was so busy looking at Trump and Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth looked like he didn't want to be there at all. I think Trump was already in his ear, like, what the F is this?
Yeah.
And then Trump, he looked like he was about to cry.
Yeah, he sure did. They said they had to yell at Pete Hegseth. He was trying to skip out on the parade. He didn't want to be there at all. But I guess they got to him and he sat through it, but he didn't even look excited.
No. Mm-mm. Not at
Well,
all.
Well, I think Donald Trump is going to try to get in the war. I really do. But
Yeah, I think so too.
All right, let's continue.
But instead, this is what Trump got. In other words, Trump wanted a menacing show of force, but got a relatively lackluster parade instead. He wanted our soldiers to be intimidating, and for him, as commander-in-chief, to look intimidating. He didn't like that there was any celebration happening because he traffics in fear and wanted that to be the tone. You see, when he called it a birthday parade to the military, that was just window dressing. In actuality, this was about Trump having the opportunity to brand him.
We have some news right now. Donald Trump raged at Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth over the military parade held on Trump's birthday, according to latest reporting from The Independent. The Independent is now citing biographer Michael Wolff, who said that Donald Trump is pissed off at the soldiers who marched in the military parade. He accused them of hamming it up. And by the way, he seems to mean that they were having a good time, that they were waving, that they were enjoying themselves and showing a convivial face rather than a military face. Wolff further said that apparently the president reamed out Pete Hegseth about the military parade, saying that there was a phone call and the tone was all wrong. Why was the tone wrong? Who staged this? The tone was the problem. Trump allegedly kept repeating himself, according to Michael Wolff and The Independent's latest reporting. Now, White House Communications Director Stephen Chung called Wolff a, quote, lying sack of shit and a proven fraud, saying that he routinely fabricates his stories. So we'll see who's right, whether Trump was happy about it or upset at Pete Hegseth, or whether Wolff was right. So spread the word. I'll do a full breakdown on my Substack, linked in bio, so subscribe for free and follow along for all the news you need to know about.
Oh, y'all, we saw what Donald Trump's face looked like. He looked pissed.
Yeah.
He did. I showed his face. Man, he looked furious sitting there.
Yeah, he couldn't hide that one at all, Lisa. That was classic. That was classic.
Well, you know, y'all should have put more time into putting that together, because that parade looked very thrown together, and you didn't have anybody doing some good planning. Y'all didn't plan very well. It just goes to show you Trump and his staff are very incompetent.
Yeah, when I looked it up today, they still putting articles out about it. I don't want to get ahead of because I don't know what you got scheduled. But what little I will say is Pete Hegseth pretty much is having a bad week this week. And but I won't go too far because I don't know what you got in store.
Now, Donald Trump got a tendency of whenever he got to make a decision about something, his favorite line is, "We'll see in 2 weeks. We'll see in 2 weeks." He does that with everything. 2 weeks, 2 weeks. People are now making memes out of it and everything.
Yeah, they were talking about that big time in detail, that he's doing this 2 week stuff. But see, this ties in with a lot of different things. Family, Trump is not well.
No.
And he thinks shit will just go away in 2 weeks. He gonna have to step it up. It's only so many places that JD Vance can go, and Trump is gonna have to roll his sleeves up and be a damn president, or he just gonna play sick or something like that. He gonna pull some type of stunt. I guarantee you this. Before this is in, Trump gonna pull some little funky stunt so he don't have to work. I know these type of people. I used to work with them. He don't want to work. He want people to just glorify him. And then you want to go around and pick on people. See, you got to remember, when Trump was in the private sector, when he didn't have nothing to do, his job was to ruin other people's businesses and ruin people's lives.
Yeah.
This fool don't know what he's doing. So the next thing is distractions. Okay, now when the distractions don't work, the lies don't work, well, the next thing is you internalize shit, and then all of a sudden he's gonna be sick or something, or you're gonna have some kind of major accident. Something funky gonna go down. But yeah, that sucker always make a point of playing golf. He playing golf right now.
All right, let's go on.
We're going to be sending letters out in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I can't tell you that, but I'll let you know in about 2 weeks, within 2 weeks. I could answer that question better in 2 weeks. I'll do this at some point over the next 2 weeks. I'll announce it over the next 2 weeks. I'll tell you about that in a month from now or 2 weeks from now. You trust President Putin? You know, in about 2 weeks. You can ask that question in 2 weeks, and we'll see. It'll be out in about less than 2 weeks. We're going to start selling, hopefully, in about 2 weeks.
He does that all the time.
We have major breaking news. It looks like Donald Trump will make an announcement in 2 weeks about what he will do for the Israel and Iran conflict. Except there's one slight problem with this. Donald Trump loves to make this 2-week promise quite often. In fact, in April of this year, he said that he would be announcing some new deals and some new tariffs in 2 weeks, and that never substantiated. Or, that time when he said he would be making a deal with Ukraine and Putin in 2 weeks. You could see here that he consistently made these 2-week promises. Or how about this famous promise here when Donald Trump said that they're going to sign a health care plan within 2 weeks? The reality is that anytime Donald Trump makes a promise to release something, to sign something, any kind of announcement within 2 weeks, the reality is that Donald Trump is probably not going to do that. Kind of fits in with the taco narrative, right? The Trump always chickens out.
Now, regarding the ongoing situation in Iran, I know there has been a lot of speculation amongst all of you in the media regarding the president's decision-making and whether or not the United States will be directly involved. In light of that news, I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, "Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks." That's a quote directly from the president for all of you today. So we'll kick it off for questions here in our new media seat. Sure, go ahead.
Caroline, thank you. So Rhino warmonger Lindsey Graham, he recently called on the U.S. to go all in.
That's quite the lead to a question.
Right. What's your message to everyday Trump supporters? Not the Tucker Carlsons or other big names, but everyday Trump supporters, grassroots who voted for President Trump to stop the wars, rejected this in the primary, going into another war with voting against Nikki Haley, and they want to see non-U.S. involvement in this war. What's your message?
Trust in President Trump. President Trump has incredible instincts, and President Trump kept America and the world safe in his first term as president in implementing a peace through strength foreign policy agenda. And with respect to Iran, nobody should be surprised by the president's position that Iran absolutely cannot obtain a nuclear weapon. He's been unequivocally clear about this for decades, not just as president, not just as a presidential candidate, but also as a private citizen. In fact, I have some quotes for you. In 2011, President Trump said, "America's primary goal with Iran must be to destroy its nuclear ambitions. We cannot allow this radical regime to acquire a nuclear weapon that they will either use or hand off to terrorists." In 2015, the president said, "The problem is that Iran poses an existential threat to Israel, our Middle Eastern allies, and the United States." And of course, the president has repeated that in his first term as president and his second term as president as well. That's why he was adamantly opposed to the disastrous Iranian nuclear.
This girl is full of crap.
Yes.
She's going to be lucky if she can find a job after she get done.
Now, see, my mind is wandering back to this 2 weeks, Lisa. Now, okay, so y'all just hold yourself, because I got to get it out. Baby, can I have some money? In 2 weeks. All right, well, I'm going to cut you off for 2 weeks. You want to cause a war in your household? You keep cutting me off of the money, I'm going to cut you off. That's how you start a war. You're a damn leader. You got people that's supposed to advise you, but no, you want people to praise you. So you don't have nobody you can go to because you think you can do all of this by yourself. The only time he take advice from people when it's to do some evil to us over here in America. But you got to be quick on your feet. You got to be quick on your feet. That 2-week bullshit. His advisor is supposed to tell him, don't say that. Don't say that.
All tactic.
Yeah. You don't use no, we working on it. We working on it. But 2 weeks, I would confront his ass on them 2 weeks. I would confront his ass on them 2 weeks every week.
See, this is usually what Donald Trump does. He'll say 2 weeks, and then them 2 weeks will go by, and he'll do absolutely nothing. That's usually what he does.
So, no, I said that wrong. You confront him every day about the 2 weeks, opposed to every week, just to drive him crazy.
Yeah, A.O. Carter, you're right. He don't listen to anybody. No, he doesn't.
His daughter said that. And when he was in office the first round, and it was time to get his funky ass out of the office. And back to this dried up girl. Did they put some makeup on her today?
It's awful.
Or the ugly just bled through all the makeup? What really happened?
I remember the first time she came on the scene, and the way she looked now, boy, she really went down. You can tell this job is taking toll on her.
It is. Damn. Girlfriend. And she kind of young.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Because, you got somebody back there that work with your hair, put some makeup on. What happened?
Yeah, she looks washed up.
Or maybe they put something on and it just bled all the way through. Girl. And she say some of the dumbest stuff.
She's an idiot. She really is. That's why I say she's gonna have a hell of a time finding work.
No, she got a backup system. That's why she married to that old dried up man and had that baby. She probably, but with somebody like that, she probably gonna get pregnant again to make sure she can guarantee that money, so she can have some backup.
So that's what Donald Trump. So people are making memes out of it. Donald Trump. All his answer is always 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I say he's saying that for two reasons. He's hoping by the time the 2 weeks are up, nobody will remember. And number two, he ain't gonna do nothing.
Tell a black woman that. Tell a black woman that. 2 weeks, right. Baby. I need some money in 2 weeks. All right. Yeah. Keep playing me.
Is what he wants is for you to forget, and when them 2 weeks are up, he ain't gonna do shit. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, tell a newborn, daddy gonna get you some milk in 2 weeks. So what's gonna happen the rest of the day, daddy? I don't know. You don't got no milk. That is that's a line he told a woman years ago.
Yeah, well, they said he used it so much, people are now laughing because they know out of his mouth. If somebody asks him, well, President Trump, when are you going to do such and such and such and such? Oh, 2 weeks. I'll have an answer in 2 weeks.
But my favorite is the one when you keep saying a concept of a plan.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. In other words, you don't have a plan. Just say you don't have a damn plan.
See, Trump just laying up. No, you said it. Wait a minute. You said it in the first presidency. You said that bastard get up every morning and wing it. He running out of options. See, the one thing about the Caucasoid race, the reason why we know y'all, because we know you over here listening. So just listen to True Royal real good. Y'all can't come up with nothing else. We know what you own before you even get started. That's why you astounded. That's why you over here listening. That's why you were looking at your kingdom going into demise.
And it should.
Because you can't come up with nothing else.
They let it burn, let it burn.
You let it burn. It's juicy. It's real juicy.
Okay, let's go on.
Agreement that was implemented by President Obama. And it's why he has given great latitude and given a lot of effort to achieving a diplomatic solution. But he's been very clear. Iran went for 60 days when he gave them that 60-day warning without coming to the table. On day 61, Israel took action against Iran. And as I just told you from the president directly, he will make a decision within 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Iran said they are not sitting down at no damn table with Donald Trump.
oh no. And you know what? This sitting down at the table with Trump, these other countries, see, I be going overseas listening to stuff. These other countries don't trust Trump because they waiting for him to pull the okey doke on them, you know. And so he don't be getting nothing resolved. He like shaming people and all of that. You know, so, and that's what they've been talking about a lot overseas about. It ain't good to be sitting.
A world leader, I would never want to meet with Donald Trump because Donald Trump like to ambush people. He'll get to the Oval Office, have the press there, and then boom, you know, he's ambushing that person.
Yeah, there you go. That's what they've been talking about, Lisa, overseas.
I would never meet with him.
I've been going all through Africa, all in them European countries, all over the place, and they like, don't just go over to America. Don't tell them what Trump might pull on you. You know, see.
And he's not a negotiator. And he's trying to act like he's going to try to bring Iran and Israel together. Donald Trump is not a negotiator. Remember, on day one, he was going to have the Ukraine-Russia war resolved. Does he have that resolved?
Nope.
Okay, in fact, Russia did a big attack on them about a week ago.
Sure did.
Is full of crap. Donald Trump is not a negotiator, and you know he needs to stop trying to get in front of the cameras like he know how to bring people together. No, you know how to make them run away.
Yeah, the art. You know what? People played into that, the art of the deal. That was all fake. That came from somebody else. That didn't come from Trump.
Write a book to save his mama's life. Get out of here. Definitely had a ghost writer.
Definitely.
Okay, let's go on.
Juneteenth is now officially a federal holiday, but President Trump doesn't seem too interested in that. He's been arguing on Truth Social that there are too many non-working holidays in America and that workers don't want it either. He added, "It must change." Well,
you know what? White people do that all the time, y'all. I remember when Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday became a holiday. I used to be at work. I'd rather work. I don't want to have that day off. You see anything pertaining to us or one of our icons, they got a problem with it. But yeah, you don't hear them saying, I'd rather work on 4th of July. You know, see, they will never form their lips and say that. Or I'd rather work on Christmas than have that day off. No, it's only holidays that pertain to the melanated people. They always got some issue with it. So instead of Donald Trump being the bigger man and saying, you know, I would like to address the country on Juneteenth and say, you know, and just do a little brief speech. Nope, not him. He went on Truth Social to bitch about Juneteenth.
And you heard what P. Hexet said not to, how can I put it? Just play Juneteenth down. Keep it down to it. Yeah, just play it down. That's what he was saying.
Want to survive the summer. I think Donald Trump gonna run his ass the hell up on out of there. He ain't gonna be there too much longer. He ain't got to worry about celebrating anything because he gonna be jobless soon. He ain't gonna have nothing. Okay.
It seems he may have forgotten that back in the 2020 election, he actually campaigned on Juneteenth being a federal holiday. And while he was president, his White House sent out Juneteenth statements several years in a row. In fact, in one interview, he claimed that he made Juneteenth a thing. He made it popular. So what has changed? It's this administration's efforts to completely eliminate the idea of diversity, equity, and inclusion, which makes marking holidays that are about Black liberation like Juneteenth something that is not so popular with his base. It also seems that based on what the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said this week, that the president did not put out some kind of proclamation or statement this week, that he's also changed course on that since he was in the White House the last time.
Remember when Trump and Elon Musk were besties and
Okay, so I really don't care. And I don't care if Donald Trump take Juneteenth away, because we still ain't going out in them streets. I hope he don't believe that.
Nope.
So go right ahead and take it, Donald Trump. We really didn't need it in the first place. But the bottom line, it ain't going to send us out in the street. And that's what he's desperately trying to do. See, him and old dumbass triple K people that he's around all the time, they can't quite figure out a way to get us out there so he can declare martial law. We're ruining his plans, and I say we keep ruining his plans.
Well, let me tell you what Trump is working on, and putting his energy into. He's putting his energy into his library. You know, that's where most of his energy is going. I just happened to catch that browsing on social media, and he wants, he's all grossly involved in that. So
But
huh?
I thought MAGA don't read books.
They don't. But see, this is again where Trump wants somebody to glorify him, because that's why his feelings were so hurt when he didn't get reelected. And now, since he done made it in, now he gonna get his sorry little library. And the bastard even have a nerve that want this country, which they said that so far they won't do it. That airplane that they gave to him, he wants that at the library too. Yeah, he wants that there too as well.
Well, all I got to say is, if Donald Trump, I don't care if he built his library in my backyard, I still wouldn't go. That's going to be the emptiest library in America, y'all. His library is going to be the most emptiest library in all of America.
Lisa, it's not going to have no books in that library. See, that's the part I forgot to tell you. They're going to have stuff in there like, when you go in there, you can get a can of Play-Doh. You can smash that around. Then they got a toy called Sit and Spin, where you can spin in a circle till you get sick. Then you can maybe play charades when you go charades when you go there. You just there you go. Picture books. There you go. Yeah.
Don't forget the diaper changing area that's going to be in there.
That's going to be the biggest area. How to change a diaper on an old dried up motherfucker.
Right. That's right. Okay, let's get into the South Africans.
Romper room, Lord.
Suddenly Trump was crying about white genocide in South Africa. Yeah, feels like forever ago. But here's the wild part. The Afrikaner refugees Trump invited to the U.S. are now stranded in a Montana hotel. No food, no money, no phone. One family believed they were getting a house, a job, and health care. Instead, they got Facebook begging. A fellow South African immigrant wasn't buying it either. We did it the right way. Visas, green card, these people just showed up expecting everything. And now? They want to go back home. But it's hard to return like nothing happened when you claim to be persecuted. South Africa's officials even mocked them, saying, you can't claim refugee status, then go home for a break and come back. Moral of the story? Don't base life decisions on promises from Trump. Man's memory lasts shorter than a TikTok. Stay tuned for more breaking news. Please don't forget to follow us.
They have had like no food.
This woman who goes by the name of Kat here on TikTok has lived in Montana in the US for 10 years, immigrated ages ago, quite legitimately, not part of these ridiculous white refugees who are part of this political stunt. And she says that via various Facebook groups for South Africans that she's still part of, someone reached out to her to help a family of 4 refugees that was stranded in a hotel with no food, no cell phones, no money, and they're absolutely desperate. And now she's at this crossroads about whether to help them or not. She says in later videos that she does go on to help them, but this just shows, what did these people expect? They're going to a country that doesn't even care for its own citizens. Trump's big, beautiful bill is going to increase tax breaks for the rich by taking food stamps away from the poor and Medicare assistance. They shouldn't be surprised by this.
So why does Trump have those South Afrikaners in a hotel in Montana struggling? Well, that's what they get for involving themselves in American business. Next time, stay home.
White House tells Fox that's not true. Everything's on the table. Even
so, the South Afrikaners, y'all, I don't know. I don't know if I fully, the more I internalize it, how the hell are you in a hotel? Don't hotels have food? Don't they have, even if they don't have food, many of them got vending machines. They got even the the wet bars and stuff in the snack bars in your room. And a lot of hotels are right by restaurants. First of all, how the hell you gonna come over here from South Africa with no money?
They lying, Lisa. Lisa, they lying.
Expect a house, money, and a job. The people that live here don't even get that.
They lying, Lisa. They lying. I seen them lined up out there getting them food boxes at the food bank. They lying. They getting food. You know, they getting them welfare phones and stuff. They lying. I don't believe none of that. They just think they was gonna get some more. They lying.
Yeah, why they don't want to? Hotels got kitchens.
They lying, Lisa. Don't believe none of that. They running game. They're supposed to have a liaison person deal with their problems.
Well, first of all, Donald Trump will get back to them in 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm gonna be their liaison person, and I'm gonna help them out. First thing, y'all get no sunscreen at all. And what I don't understand, before I help them out, why your ass ain't on a farm picking cotton? I thought they were supposed to be skilled farmers, and they laid up in hotels screaming and hollering. You know, food should not be an issue. You're a farmer. Grow your food. Why are you in the hotel?
Well, first of all, why are you over here looking for a handout? You should know Donald Trump don't keep his word on nothing. When you come over here based on something Donald Trump said, you are gambling with your life at that point.
No, I can't let this go, Lisa. Now, I know a lot of y'all know one of them South Africans came over here and killed his wife. Now, what about that situation? I ain't letting nothing go tonight. I'm in my feelings.
I think we shed light on that on social media more than mainstream news. Yeah. I mean, but these folks came over here on a refugee status, which means technically they can't go back home. When you came over here as refugees, what you're saying is your homeland is way too dangerous for you to live there, right? So once you come as a refugee, you really technically can't go back. They really put themselves in a bad situation.
What they doing in them hotels? They just sitting up in there in them hotels, looking at the walls, looking at each other.
You could be out looking for a job.
Yeah, they got some jobs out there on the farms. Go out there on them farms and go pick my cherries.
Right. They got jobs in Montana. They got jobs there too.
No, Nebraska, Lisa. Nebraska.
Right, but I'm saying they're in Montana. And I said there's farmland and there's work in Montana too.
Oh, some people don't know about the murder, Lisa. This man killed his wife.
Yeah, South Afrikaner.
Over here in America.
They said he was beating up on her even when they were still in South Africa. But when they got here, they arrived, I think, on the 12th, and by the 24th, he killed her. They weren't here a full 2 weeks.
But she was from where, Lisa? I forgot what you said.
Dubai.
Dubai.
Yeah, she was from Dubai.
Yeah, he's a white boy. And her family had to raise money to get her body back to them. So this country didn't even help that woman get her body shipped back. So that Trump and Elon is so busy having their own personal problems. See, they pull these little photo stunts thinking it's going to hurt our feelings. And then in the end, Big Brother done showed up on you. Now you sitting up in the hotel scratching your ass, can't figure out what to do.
But how do you feel about them coming here and they want handouts? They want a house, they want a cell phone, they want cars, they want money, and they really seriously believe this is what they're going to get showered with while they're here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to face the fact that Donald Trump sold you a lie.
Mm-hmm.
Reality is going to set in real fast, and see Ramaphosa in them. They don't want their asses back. That's why he called them cowards.
Mm-hmm. They are. They thought they had illusions of grandeur. I'm telling you, there are people that still think America's streets are paved with gold. I know y'all find this hard to believe, but I'm trying to tell you something. I know it's some people that's deranged like that. And they got a whole different mindset. And they came over here with their mindset, and now they sitting up here doing what they usually do, beg.
Yep.
Now you caught you now you like Lisa said, now you got to look at the status that they are under. You said that it was a danger to live in South Africa. It's a danger. So they ain't gonna want to help your ass.
You're not, when you are a refugee, you're not supposed to ever go back to your homeland. Remember, you said it wasn't safe there.
Mm-hmm.
You said it wasn't safe.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Donald Trump put out there, y'all were being genocide over there. He said he showed a stack of pictures. Most of the pictures didn't even happen in South Africa. And he showed Julius Malema videos. That was the proof.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. That was the proof that genocide was going on.
Mm-hmm. I kept saying, I want to see the damn paperwork. What's in the plan? I knew something wasn't right. When I keep questioning stuff, in 2 weeks, the shit unfolds. I'm going to start using 2 weeks. It'll all come out in the wash in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Now, before we move on to the next one, I want to talk to you about the Mexicans and how they keep getting on videos on TikTok trying to drag the Black community because we're not going out there and joining them. How do you feel about that?
Well, let me say what I got to say before you go where you're going to go. So, excuse me for smacking because what I'm eating is so good. Have y'all noticed that they never display their anger towards white people? And I said, what's the reason for that? Show you how deranged they thinking is. They think they still got to end with the enemy. I've been talking about the enemy and the enemy supporters for years on my channel. So look at how they think. So they're going to hold back their true anger, and then they're going to come to us for therapy, essentially. Well, therapy costs, damn it. And I don't want my money in 2 weeks. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I don't want nothing in 2 weeks either. No, I do notice that. I mean, where's Fat Joe? Where's Fat Joe? I thought he was all about his people. We ain't heard a peep out of him.
He told me he gonna get back with him in 2 weeks, Lisa.
He probably couldn't walk over there. That dude is in such bad shape.
Oh, his legs go every which way.
So Y'all, yeah, I noticed that too. I mean, and people are even addressing them. Even other people of different races are addressing them. I saw a white guy out there, and he even said the same thing. He said, why black people? Why not the Asians? Why not the Koreans, the Japanese? Why do you keep going to black folks? And number two, you should never ever depend on another group in order to get things done. How would we have looked during the civil rights movement talking about where's the Latinos? How are we going to go out here and march and get stuff done without the we didn't lean on any other group. When civil rights was a goal, our people went out there and handled it ourselves. We did not look at no other group to come out there with us. You know, how the hell you going to call upon? Number one, we can't relate to what you're going through because we're not immigrants. We're not immigrants. We're written right in the Constitution. We have been citizens since the 1860s. Okay? Y'all are fighting to stay in a land. And another thing, True Royal, and I said this before, how you gonna come to another country and fight the government? Why didn't you fight the government in your homeland?
Oh yeah, they got you're right about that, because they got a lot to throw up in the fight to throw up in this country's face, but over in their country, they running. They don't got nothing to say.
I mean, that whole thing is, these people are weird. I don't mean, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I mean that. These people are weird.
They ain't fooling me, Lisa. That's why I keep saying what I'm saying. They're not fooling me. That shit that they displaying is fake. They being phony because they want to stay in good with Massa. And so that, you know, if Massa have a change of heart and bring them back to their plantations, then they can't say, well, we never seen a video y'all showing y'all anger towards us or anything. They really think that they got it in. They just think that they're going to have a change of heart and eventually. See, that let me know they never studied their history. We know them.
Yeah, but that's why I'm saying they are weird people. It was just a few days ago, they were all over social media talking about we were immigrants too. And we had to straighten that shit out. No, we're not citizens. We are citizens. We're not immigrants. We have never been immigrants. We were kidnapped. Okay. And if we're kidnapped, how is that a citizen? I mean, not an immigrant.
Let's specify that, Lisa, so nobody jump back in your face. I don't want nobody hearing no shit over here. We were kidnapped on our own land, the very land that we are in right now. People that they could collectively touch. So we indigenous to the whole planet.
And you notice Donald Trump is not sitting around saying we are going to deport the black people. No, he's deporting you. You know why he's deporting you? Because at the end of the day, the people that look like Donald Trump don't give a shit about you. And see, that's why y'all are all hurt and crying on videos. You're an idiot. And it tells me Latinos don't know how to read people.
No, they don't. No. What they steadily doing is, now let me tell y'all this. When they was whooping our asses on them auction blocks, they was standing there watching that stuff. They was watching it. So I guess they huddled and got together and said, well, we'll bow and scrape even harder and they will like us. Plus, I didn't even heard them say this. Well, my skin is whiter than their skin. Why they treat me like that?
Because you know what? You may have that lighter skin, but you got that fucked up accent. Okay. And people don't get past that little fucked up accent y'all got. Y'all got a weird accent, by the way. And number two, the bottom line is they used you and now you're being discarded. This is the history of these folks. This is their history. They use you and they discard you. Okay. Y'all it just goes to show you. I thought education was bad in the Black community. The Latino community, it is far worse.
Wait a minute. I started out. It starts in the home. It starts in the home.
Yeah, well, I guess if you're worried about being white all the time, you wouldn't learn anything else, would you?
Well, they must be training them at home to bow and scrape and kiss ass. Because I know what I was taught at home. I was told, even though you high yellow, they don't like you either. I was very clear. I didn't have to figure this out. I was clear as a child that me being high yellow don't make me better than anybody else.
Well, it just goes to show you that Latinos don't teach racism. How to, they are not prepared for racism when they come out in the real world. That's what it tells me. Y'all have stepped out here into the lion's den and you don't know how to navigate around. See, us, we've been putting up with it so long. We know how to navigate around it. And we know when to confront it and when to say, all right, I'm going to let you forget. And then I'm going to come and get your ass. See, we don't deal with it.
Lisa, it goes deeper than that because I had an advantage. They don't know how to handle racism. When I work with them out there on construction jobs and they had to deal with racism face to face, I literally would see a Mexican man cry. He wouldn't even let himself get angry. He would just cry. The whole time I worked in the construction field, damn near 20 years, I only seen 2 Mexicans that said, I will beat your ass. And both of them were gang members. One was a gang member and one was kicked out of his country. He was becoming a doctor. And you should have seen how that white boy crumbled. But the rest of them, they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how, like you said, know how to maneuver around it. They can't even see it when it's coming. And then they will pull stuff like this. In the world of construction, you get 15 minutes cleanup time. Okay. The foreman didn't tell you in the middle of the day that there might possibly be some overtime. So that means that, okay, and clean up before quitting time. No, they always wait for massa to tell them when to take a break, when to take lunch, and when to take off for work. And then they'll keep working. Now they're winning the overtime, but they ain't gonna get the overtime. And they just, they even some of them will even ask, can they even go to the bathroom? I'm telling you, I work with them. I know what I'm talking about. They fear them like that. Like I was telling Lisa the other day, I had my foreman tell me that I'm coming to move furniture out of his house. So be at the job site at 8 and he gonna pick me up in his truck. He would tell the Mexicans that, do you think the Mexicans would say, oh no, I got something to do with my family for the weekend? I told them, hell no, I ain't doing none of that. I ain't working in your house. Oh, we gonna pay you. You keep your little funky money. So they put themselves in that position that a man won't even stand up to another man and say, no, I'm not coming to your house for the weekend to work to move your furniture around. And you're going to give me $50 and you're going to work me all day. There's something wrong with them. They don't think like us.
They're cowards.
Yeah.
See, the only time they want to open their mouth is to us. But anybody else, they don't even step to the Asians. They don't step to nobody but us. And see, they are under this false belief that they gonna call us N-words, treat us like crap, and we still gonna do something for them. But see, what they don't understand is we are fed up with all of the bad treatment we have endured all this time. We have endured this shit for hundreds of years. You think we gonna take this from some dusty, funky looking people coming over a fence? No, hell no, we ain't taking it off of them. That's why a lot of foreigners, we push back on them hard. See, they don't get it like they think they will.
See, now, Lisa, there's another thing. Now, I'm going to flip the whole script on y'all. I often tell people to look at things with their spiritual eyes. Use your spiritual ears. The other thing that they're doing is they're coming to who is reclaiming their throne. That they're speaking on a spiritual level. They know who is next going to be in charge of all of this too as well. Now, even though they're saying all kind of derogatory things and different things like that, they're being moved that way. You got to realize that Yahweh is moving that way. So they're bowing down to us. And the rest gonna have to take suit too.
But the reason why they act the way that they do is because they're mostly Esau.
That's true.
You know, they're mostly Esau. They got that Spaniard blood in them, that European Spaniard blood in them.
Mm-hmm.
They're mostly European. Okay, there's a reason why they act as racist as the white race does, because they got all that Spaniard blood, and that's the majority of what they are made of, that Spanish blood.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody should be shocked that they display the same racism as Esau, because technically they are Esau.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the children of the conquistadors, those were Spaniards.
Mm-hmm. Spaniards are European.
The conquistadors, yep. And they will even tell you, some of them have told me that. No, we're the children of the conquistadors, and they're not lying.
Mm-mm.
But, you know, yeah, they got some black in there, but they never acknowledge it.
Mm-mm.
You know, they used to say when you met a Mexican years ago, they would tell you they had a black grandmother, a black grandfather. Nowadays, they don't even tell you that. They don't even acknowledge that part of themselves. They just acknowledge the white and you know, and that's it. Oh, we're native white and this and that. Well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, well, you know, you gravitate towards the white more than anything else.
Yeah, but the Mexicans had told me about in the old country, all the black folks is down there as I speak. There's a bunch of them down there, but they discriminate against them.
But that's okay. I'm loving that they reject their black side, because see, when we get redeemed, it's lights out for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't care. You know, let them do it. They're only condemning themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They're only condemning themselves. That's why I said a while back, I said most of them are Gentiles. Most of them are Gentiles. Do you believe me now? Okay. Do you believe me now? Because I said that. I said that when it was still 2024. I said most of them are Gentiles.
Mm-hmm.
And they are. They're not our people. That's why I resent the fact that, and to this very day, I'll get somebody in my comment, you know, you should take it easy on them. That is a car. Like, Lord have mercy.
That chart is, so that's another one of our folks that's believing in that chart. You believe in that chart, huh?
Yeah. I get people, even, I bet you they'll come even on this video. You know, I know what you said. That's not, you should be a lot kinder. That is a car. Okay, well then you go out there and give them your shit. Okay, they ain't getting nothing from me, because I know that's not who they are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when you look at these Latin Americans, they are not Issachar, and they act like Gentiles. Pay attention, open your eyes. They act like Gentiles. Okay, I mean, look at how they are. They act like Gentiles. Look at what they did out there in LA to get rid of those black folks. They firebombed their house. Does that sound like Issachar to you?
Mm.
That is a Gentile. Okay, what did white folks do back in the 50s and 60s? They firebombed churches. Do you see the similarities here?
Mm-hmm.
That's not Issachar.
Mm-hmm. Well, down there in LA, I caught footage of them out there calling them black cops out there niggas.
Yep, and that was recent.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes. That's why I said they do everything you see Esau doing, because they are Gentiles too.
Mm-hmm.
They are Gentiles. All right, let's go on.
In tactical nukes. President Trump making it very clear that if America has to get involved in Iran, it'll end on our terms. And it looks like he's preparing for any scenario. The E-4B Doomsday plane just made an unexpected flight to D.C. The $500 million aircraft was designed to withstand nuclear blasts and keep top government officials safe when threats are off the charts. And it landed at Joint Base Andrews under the cover of night on Tuesday. Right now, the United States has two destroyers anchored in the Mediterranean, the USS Sullivans and the USS Thomas Hudner. Both of these $100 million platforms have been shooting down Iranian missiles. To the south is a carrier strike group, the USS Carl Vinson in the Arabian Sea just off the coast of Iran, flanked by 4 warships providing security to U.S. bases in the region, and a super carrier, the USS Gerald Ford. It's on its way and should be on the scene soon. Dozens of F-16s have been repositioned from Italy to the Saudi Arabia base, and F-22s and F-35s are on their way.
Tonight, as the region awaits word on whether President Trump will launch U.S. forces.
Good afternoon, everyone.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt today made clear the president's decision is weeks away, not days, to allow space for dialogue.
I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, "Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks."
That's as the war between Israel and Iran rages on, inflicting a heavier and heavier toll as the conflict reached its 7th day. Iranian strikes injured dozens of people at Soroka Medical Center, the largest hospital in southern Israel. No one was killed as patients were evacuated on gurneys, but entire wings of the facility were left in tatters. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu toured the damage today.
We're targeting military sites. We're targeting nuclear sites. We're targeting missile sites. They're targeting a hospital.
Iranian officials claimed they targeted military installations nearby. Elsewhere, homes and high-rises in Tel Aviv hollowed out from blasts as hundreds of people have been hurt across Israel. Meanwhile, in Iran, Israel continued its relentless strikes. Israel says it's not targeted Iranian civilians, but a U.S.-based Iranian human rights group says hundreds have been killed. The Tehran Times memorializing the victims, entire families, an 8-year-old gymnast, a young flight attendant, and an equestrian champion, among others. The Israeli military points to strikes on nuclear targets, releasing video it claims shows a direct hit on the Arak heavy water reactor, a potentially critical component of Iran's nuclear program. Iranian state TV said there was, quote, no radiation danger from the strike. Israel's defense minister today fanned the flames, calling for the assassination of Iran's supreme leader Ali Khamenei.
We decided on the goals of the war. The goals are to eliminate the nuclear threat. But amid this, the IDF has been instructed and knows that in order to achieve all of its goals, this man absolutely should not continue to exist.
Russian President Vladimir Putin, a key Iran ally, also issued a warning that the U.S. not get militarily involved. Tomorrow in Geneva, a first opportunity to lower the temperature. Iran's foreign minister says he will pursue talks with his European counterparts, talks that the White House says it will be watching.
The president is always interested in a diplomatic solution to the problems and the global conflicts in this world. Again, he is a peacemaker in chief. He is the peace through strength president. And so if there's a chance for diplomacy, the president's always going to grab it.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
The president has approved a plan for attacking Iran, but will he pull the trigger? We will know by the 4th of July.
The White House said today the president will decide within 2 weeks. That will allow time for any negotiations with Iran. The president believes there is still a substantial chance there will be talks.
And while we wait, the war goes on without the United States. Iran fired dozens of missiles into Israel overnight, hitting a hospital. And Israel hit nuclear sites in Iran.
As for any retaliation by Iran here in the United States, CBS News has learned that the FBI is stepping up its efforts to monitor any possible sleeper cells linked to Hezbollah, the terror group backed by Iran.
We begin this evening with Weijia Zhang at the White House. Weijia?
But just 3 days ago, President Trump warned everyone to evacuate Tehran immediately and rush back to Washington from an international summit for an emergency meeting in the Situation Room. But tonight, that level of urgency seems to have faded as he gives Iran another chance.
More than 700 patients were inside the largest hospital in southern Israel when it took a direct hit from Iranian missiles overnight. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to retaliate, and he lobbied President Trump to join the effort to end Iran's nuclear program.
He gave them the chance to do it through negotiations. They strung him along. And you don't string along Donald Trump.
Today, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt delivered this message from Trump.
Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks.
But CBS News has learned that Trump believes taking out Iran's Fordow nuclear site is necessary if talks fail, citing the risk of weapons being produced in a relatively short period of time.
I think they were a few weeks away from having one.
When the president said a few weeks away, did he mean obtaining enough enriched uranium to start building a weapon, or did he mean Iran is a few weeks away from completing the production of a weapon?
Let's be very clear. Iran has all that it needs to achieve a nuclear weapon. All they need is a decision from the supreme leader to do that. And it would take a couple of weeks to complete the production of that weapon.
But there is no clarity on just how close Iran is. Today, the UN agency that inspects nuclear facilities around the world said Iran is accumulating highly enriched uranium at an almost military level. But there was no indication that there is an active plan to build a nuclear weapon.
So, Ouija, we're all wondering here, the main question, what changed? Why did the president add these 2 weeks?
Well, the sense of urgency and the rhetoric certainly changed, but the end goal has not. And this is a tactic that we have seen the president use often to pressure adversaries and competitors to come around to what he wants, like threatening wildly high tariffs to get new trade deals. In this case, what he really wants is for Iran to agree to abandon its nuclear program.
And so, Ouija, is there any practical downside then to giving this 2-week cushion that he's announced?
Well, some U.S. officials have expressed concern that they don't think Iran really wants to make a deal, and they're just stringing the U.S. along to buy more time. In the meantime, of course, the war continues. Israel is using up a lot of resources to intercept those missiles, and Iran claims it has used less than 30% of its military capabilities.
Okay, Ouija Jang at the White House. Thanks so much.
We're keeping a very close eye on the skies over Israel, where the country's air defenses are working to repel a new missile barrage from Iran. New video posted on social media shows fires burning in a technology park in the southern city of Beersheba. Israeli police report property damage and 6 minor injuries, no casualties at this point. Rescue workers say they are searching a damaged building and apartments to make sure there aren't any people who've been left inside, and certainly anyone who'd been injured.
What the Lord,
Ooh, Lord. Yeah, I bet you did get your ass out of that window.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, a lot of people are leaving, y'all, and I don't blame them. There's some breaking news here. And let me share my screen. It popped up like 5 minutes ago, so we're going to watch this. So this came out from ABC News. It says that Donald Trump has approved plans to attack Iraq. I mean, not Iraq, Iran. All right, so let me play this.
Demonstrators in Baltimore joined other protests nationwide rallying against the U.S. joining forces with Israel to attack Iran. This morning, President Donald Trump is warning that he may not reach a decision until the very last minute. Sources say plans have already been drawn up should he agree to strike. Yesterday, Iran's supreme leader rebuffed the president's appeal for unconditional surrender. Instead, the country is vowing to retaliate if the U.S. gets involved. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest developments for WJC.
A seventh day of fighting between Israel and Iran, and CBS News has learned President Donald Trump has approved plans to attack Iran as well. That's according to senior U.S. intelligence and defense sources. But so far, no decision on if the launch strikes.
I like to make the final decision 1 second before it's due, because things change. I mean, especially with war.
Sources say President Trump is waiting to see if Iran will abandon its nuclear program.
Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I've been saying it for a long time. And I think they were a few weeks away from having one.
The State Department says it started evacuating non-essential personnel and their families from the U.S. Embassy in Israel. It's warning Americans to leave Iran now, as both countries launched more strikes overnight. Iran State TV confirmed that Israel hit a heavy water reactor used in nuclear production. Israel says a medical building was hit by an Iranian missile. Yesterday, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed to win in the end. Iran's supreme leader said his nation will not surrender, and he threatened irreparable damage if the U.S. gets involved. American officials say Iran has prepared to retaliate with strikes on American bases in the Middle East.
It's their war. It's not our war. And I hope it doesn't become our war.
From the White House gates to other cities around the country, protests grew Wednesday, opposing any U.S. involvement in the conflict. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Demonstrators.
All right. So, y'all, they said Donald Trump has approved plans to attack Iran. Now, Iran, in return, what they're saying is if the U.S. attack them, they're going to go after bombing the military bases and sinking the naval ships that are out there around the shores of their country.
Did you see how many bases they have out there? I think they got 13 or 15 bases.
Yep.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, they know where they are. That's why they don't have to come all the way here to the US. They can get to Americans already over there, serving in the military.
Yep.
And Donald Trump making his threats, and I don't think there's anybody on this earth that's afraid of Donald Trump that's sitting in another country. I don't think there's anyone.
Well, the thing is, that's the first time, maybe I'm wrong, I've heard a leader telegraph like that and let the other side know, well, in 2 weeks they'll make a decision. You just
right, because they can get ready and be prepared for you. And how do you know your attack is going to be successful? Because they're now planning to intercept you or do something to block what you're doing.
Yeah, he thinking these people are going to be scared and shaking in their boots and stuff.
What the hell is up with that?
Them people don't even live the way that we live over here. No. Them people live rough. I be watching them videos. Them people will get some rocks and some leaves and live. And I've seen their children do it. I'm telling you something I watch almost on a day-to-day basis. Even their children know how to survive in that type of terrain. It's rough. So, you in your nice little barracks, all comfortable and cozy, they try to Americanize stuff as much as they can. And then you got this screwball president. Lord, that's not a good position to be in.
And you couldn't have the worst people in charge right now.
Oh,
I mean, if we had to plan out a military strike, do you want Pete Hegseth to be the head of that?
Trump ain't even letting. I read an article today. He's not even involving him in the plans of any of this. He sidestepping head set.
Yeah, but so scatterbrained, who wants a plan from him?
Mm-mm.
You know, you don't have no good people in charge. And now, and no defense, America, you ain't gonna win. America has not won a war in several decades now.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't won a single war. They did not win Afghanistan. They did not win Iraq. They did not win Vietnam. America don't win wars anymore.
Mm-mm.
America don't win wars anymore. They don't.
They get depleted of their resources.
Well, didn't they give it all to Ukraine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they gave everything to Ukraine. So look, America, you're at a disadvantage. Looks like Iran is on top of their game. And that's why they're able to get all those strikes in on Israel. And I'm just telling you, America's already over there trying to intercept missiles. And many of those missiles are still landing in Israel.
Ooh, the missiles is Lisa, the way the missiles is coming is unreal to me. That's some scary stuff.
They got two lines of defense right now. They got America trying to intercept the missiles before they reach Israel, and then Israel is trying to get them out of the sky. And between the two of them, they still can't stop Iran. Okay, they still can't stop Iran. That should say a lot right there.
Mm-hmm.
But no, America, your winning days are in, like Big Judah say, in the rear view mirror, because y'all ain't gonna win nothing now.
Mm-mm. Just gonna be wasting a bunch of money.
Yeah, America's not gonna, America's protection is not gonna be as good as Israel is looking for. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, and then you got
yeah, those things ain't no damn joke. I watch those things come in. They come in so fast they can't get them out of the sky.
They sure can't, Lisa. They was just in the sound that it make. That's the part that was blowing my mind. Zoom! How fast they was coming. They come in lightning fast. You don't even have time. You don't even have time to think.
And they said Iran got an endless supply of those hypersonic missiles. They got tons of them. And like I said, over the last 24 hours, they have fired over 570 missiles at Israel.
Ooh,
that is like insane.
Ooh,
that's insane.
That sound like nonstop action.
Can you imagine it? And that stuff is going on around the clock. Can you imagine? Your nerves got to be, you got to be a wreck to be there all day. You're hearing bombs drop all night. You're hearing, you got to be crazy. That would make me crazy. But they did say a lot of people are leaving out of there. Yeah. You know why? Because they're being swept off the land, y'all. They're being swept out of their land.
I'll be back, Lisa.
They're being swept off the land. And war will do it every single time. It sure will. Yeah, I couldn't do it. I probably, day one, I probably would have been out of there. I don't think I could go a whole week of listening to bombs drop around the clock. No, I couldn't do it. Psychologically, I couldn't do it. I absolutely couldn't do it. Well, always remember who took our identity. We are in the time of judgment. You must pay. And every nation have participated in our demise. Every nation has. Somebody had said to me, well, not really the Russians. When those Russians come here to live in America, they are racist as hell. No, the Russians have participated in attacking us too. I mean, I've even seen videos of Russian women attacking black men, and stuff. Yeah, calling you the N-word. No, the Russians are not that damn innocent. They're not that damn innocent. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Israel is starting to look like Palestine. They bombed out all those buildings over there in Palestine, but see, those people were easy targets. They were easy. Hamas was easy. But see, now Iran, they got a real army. See, they're coming up against a real army now, and they're not doing so well. So it's easy to come up against somebody and defeat them when you got more weapons than they are, and you got a military, and they really don't have much of a military. Yeah, you can defeat anybody like that real easy. But now you are fighting somebody that can go toe to toe with you. You know, and America gonna get in here and get in this fight, True Royal. Here's my prediction. And Iran is going to single-handedly handle Israel and the US. That's my prediction.
Okay.
That's my prediction.
Mm-hmm. Trump got problems.
And Donald Trump never fought no damn war. This man, he don't know how to strategize any military plans.
No, see the way, and all of this gonna backfire on him because the way he didn't pick his cabinet and the people that's the you know, especially the people that's supposed to lead in the military phase of it. I mean, it's horrible. You know, it's really horrible, and it's gonna all come out in the wash so quickly. Look at he's been in office 6 months, and look at all this mess that's popping off.
Generals go.
Uh-huh.
Okay, generals go and brought in a low-level military guy, Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, and Hegseth got, and he all puffed up. That's what he walks around on, being puffed up. Puffed up don't get nothing done. You got to have somebody that make decisions and keeping their ego up out of it. See, when you are put in a position, when you make the ranks in the military, what they recognize is, okay, in a disaster situation, do you panic? Do you know how to make a quick? Sometimes you got to make quick decisions. You know, this dude, yeah, they, like you said, puffed up on liquors and drugs and thinking he looks so good. That don't get nothing resolved. You got to have somebody cool and calm, because at the end of the day, they can throw missiles and bombs and bullets back and forth, but still at the end of the day, all wars end the same way. People got to come to the table. And I can't even see nobody coming to the table at this point because this country is too puffed up. You know, trying to display like we the superpower. It ain't going that way.
Yeah. And like I said, America, you don't have any victories anymore.
Yeah.
And not only that, y'all don't even treat the people right in the military. Look at how y'all treat veterans. Y'all be throwing them off of their health care, and you won't take care of them like they're supposed to be taken care. Y'all treat veterans like crap up in here. And then during the time of Colin Kaepernick, you had the nerve to form your non-existent lips talking about black people hate veterans. Black people hate the police and all this stuff. No, you mofos hate veterans. That's why a lot of them to this very day are out there homeless, living under an overpass.
Yeah, because I see it's a lot of them. It's a lot of them here, up here in Northern California. And I had a friend come up here and stay with me for 2 weeks. And, you know, sometimes you see stuff, but you don't see it. And she said to me, I have never seen that many homeless white men in my life. And I said, those homeless white men that you're looking at are veterans. And it's still a bunch of them. They you know, they're in their 70s, damn near 80s now. A lot of them are from the Vietnam era too as well. They're homeless.
Yeah.
And they all out on the street.
Y'all stay out of the war.
So what black folks got to do with veterans being on the streets of America?
Stay out of the war. Stay out of the war.
It's none of our business, not our fight.
We don't start wars, and we should not be in them. Didn't Pete Hegseth want an all-white military? Then let him send that all-white
Yeah.
military out there. They ain't gonna never win.
Mhm.
They are never gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
Go on out there with your all-white. Remember, you don't like DEI. You don't like DEI, so you should not be looking for us to go fight a war because you don't like DEI. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you don't like DEI. You send your family because Pete said he want the white soldiers. Get the white soldiers on out there. Get out there and start fighting.
Any black guys out there, just shave yourself and let all the bumps pop out and show them to your leadership, and they'll ship your ass home real quick with all them bumps on your face. I ain't never heard of most silliest shit in my life.
But you know what? That's a clear sign that the Most High is showing you shouldn't be shaving up your face like that.
That's true.
You know, that really is part of a judgment for shaving your face.
Mm-hmm.
Now your skin is destroyed from all of those razor bumps and those big outbreaks you have after you shave, because it was never meant for our men to put razors to their faces like that.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
You
That's
know,
absolutely true.
if they want to be petty like that, what the hell do we care? Go home.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you got a razor bump there? Oh, go home, pack up, be happy. Pack up and run the hell out of there with a smile on your face. That's what I would do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah, Donald Trump wouldn't even go. Remember, he had bone spurs.
Mm-hmm.
He wouldn't go to war. He had bone spurs.
I keep throwing it up in his face, calling people in the military suckers and losers.
Yeah. Yeah. And somebody had wrote something very valid the other day that I had read. They said Trump don't like to lose. And when he realized Israel is losing, he's going to abandon them. And I said, I would not doubt that. That sounds like Donald Trump. That sounds like him. Yeah, he don't like to lose. 5 deferments. That's right, Lotus Fowl. 5 deferments.
Damn.
Mm.
That's a coward.
He didn't want to fight.
That's a coward.
So to me, a man that had 5 deferments, how does he grow the balls to tell somebody else to go out there and fight? And he wouldn't even do it himself.
Wait a minute. Somebody said something to me. Let's be realistic. Most people need a federal employment. I don't shame anyone for joining the military. True royal. Dang, that hurts. Suckers and losers. I didn't call you a sucker or a loser. I said Trump said that they
said that.
I never called anybody in the military sucker or losers.
Right. Donald Trump said that.
Yeah, I've never ever shamed anybody from joining the military. I got people in my family in the military for various reasons. Some of them had to go in there because they had to eat. I'm concerned about them, but shame them. Yeah. See, we in a constant repetitive war in this country, a constant repetitive war. And sometimes you got to do what you got to do to survive. It may not always look the way that we want it to look, but I have very good reasoning and very good understanding when you got to eat. Yeah, people can say a bunch of shit, but I'm not feeding your family at the end of the day. But no, I don't look at our men, and there's black women too as well, as suckers and losers. What I don't like is how they exploit our talents and our gifts and make us feel some kind of way.
Right. And they're not really technically not even entitled to those things from us.
Yeah.
And like I said, every time when they approach us about fighting the war, remind them, y'all don't believe in DEI. If I go out there as a melanated man or woman, that would be DEI. Y'all don't like that. That's what you say to them. Didn't Donald Trump let everybody go because anybody that was involved in DEI, he let them go? Okay, then you don't like DEI. So don't be looking for us to go out there and fight.
And there's something else I want to add, and I have said this often. When our folks, when it comes to the military part of it, this is just how my mind worked. If I was in the military, then I'm going to try to learn as much of the enemy's secrets as possible. And I want to learn how to use all of his arsenal and all of that. That lets me know how the enemy thinks. That's just how I look at it when I'm in a war within a war. See, that's how my mind is constantly working. I'm in a war within a war.
That's Christopher Clipper. That was the Air Force general. Donald Trump let him go because of DEI. Exactly.
What a
That's
shame.
why you don't let them exploit us. You turn their words around and attack them with it. So Donald Trump has been on this DEI thing. So when he has this expectation that we should be out there fighting, we just going to remind him about how he hates DEI. So you don't want us out there. Use his words against him. That's what you do.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's exactly what you do.
Let their people go out there. Let MAGA go out there. They're supposed to be such patriots, so let them get out there.
Yeah, they always want to prove how much better they are, and then when they have their ass handed to them, it's the same classic stuff that they do all the time. They reach right back out and ask for our folks to come and clean up for them because they can't handle it.
We got to say no, like we're saying no to the Mexicans. No, we're not helping.
Yeah, so we're really what we're saying no to being exploited and being used and telling us you ain't nothing. You know, we're really see really what's happening is about to happen is since they want to say everything is on merit base and they really putting themselves in a really messed up position with us that we can start negotiating stuff. When they get to that point where they don't have nobody they can help them and then they reach back out, you like, hold up. So what I'm going to get paid? How my benefit package going to look? Okay, you put that shit in writing. And then you make sure that stuff can be binded and you can take it to court if they don't fulfill what they going to fulfill. They put themselves in that position.
Don't let him tell you 2 weeks. So if he tells you 2 weeks, I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Do like them white boys used to do when I used to come to them construction sites and ask the foreman, could I get a week's pay ahead of advance? They wouldn't be a week in a hole. I've seen them do it. Oh, it can be done. I've seen things done right in my face. They keep petty cash on every job.
Right.
So you can negotiate stuff. So let them keep playing themselves out, keep running these Mexicans out and keep excluding us out and acting like they can do everything. And you're going to be put in a position where you can negotiate how you want to be paid, how you want your benefit package and all. And really think that out. Just don't do that spot on. Already have your shit laid out. You know, do it with your family. You can go online. They show you how to put things together. We got a wealth of information.
And plus, we got every reason not to go out there. This country won't even do reparations, and they know we are entitled to that. We can't get what we want. Why should they get anything they want?
That's why ain't nothing gonna ever go right again, ever in America again. America is just at the beginning phases of non-stop terror. The judgment, the side effects of their isms is bleeding out in their individual situations. It is affecting them in their households.
Yes.
And they know it. They know it now. See, they had on their heart. They was going to the booth. Oh yeah, I'm gonna vote. Nigga, this nigga ain't gonna get this, nigga ain't gonna get that.
But you know something, Royal? You know something, True Royal? I ain't never seen so many of them crying because they done lost their jobs. They can't pay their bills. They are having a hard time making it. I never seen so many crying before in the past like I do now.
Me either. This is a first for me. This is a first.
They are
when I
crying.
go to that one, especially when I go to that grocery store, that basket gonna be full. I seen a sister at the grocery store, her basket was overflowing. I said, go ahead with your bad self. You can see the bottom of the damn basket. They just put a little bit of here and there, a little bit of they just piecemealing them games together.
Yep, they sure are.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But yes, this place must fall because our rise is here, y'all. It must fall.
Yeah, some of the people that I used to work with in the construction field, they saying they keeping the black folks. They used to lay us off so quick. Me and my husband, hey, we can't work anymore like we used to. It's a lot of jobs available to black folks in the construction field. And they need skilled folks. See, they're having some issues with that, having issues with having people that have skills.
Yeah. You remember Donald Trump said he wanted this to be a merit-based society.
Never ain't gonna be merit-based. Esau don't know how to operate on merit-based. There's nothing in their history comes at merit-based. Even I'm gonna show you how diabolical they are. Even when it's exclusively them, do they operate on merit? They cutthroat.
They'll put people in and they know they're not eligible, but they just want that white face in the position. Mm-hmm. And look at RFK. Let's use that as an example. That man is clearly mentally ill. Even his own family came out and spoke against him when he was going through confirmation because they know him and they know he ain't right. All right. They know that man ain't right. And you can look at him and tell something ain't right. He has no business being in no position like that. But see, y'all do that mess all day long. But see, you'll go with that person until they do something so effed up that you have to let them go and just break away from them.
Mm-hmm.
But it never have to get that way if you would just hire the right person. But no, you'll stick, and I've seen y'all do this even on any given job out here. You will put somebody in there that clearly don't know a thing. And see, when it all fall apart, then they're ready to distance themselves from that person. But it's really their fault for putting them there in the first place. That man, you heard the story about the bear he tied to his car. He found a dead bear, and it came out during his confirmation hearing. He found a dead bear. He tied the bear on the roof of his car, and they said the bodily fluids were coming out of the bear and splashing on his kids in the back seat.
He is sick.
He didn't care. He didn't care. You know how traumatic that had to be for those kids? They said he didn't care. And they said the stench was horrible. And he drove around with a bear cub tied to the roof of his car like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he realized he couldn't take the bear where he wanted. So he discarded the bear in Central Park. And everybody was asking, how did this bear get in Central? Because Central Park don't have bears.
No, it don't.
For years, they were trying to figure out where this bear came from. And during the confirmation hearing, he finally admitted he threw the bear in Central Park, the dead cub in Central Park.
Somebody did that down the street from my house, Lisa. Somebody took a head of a dead, full-grown bear and dropped it off down the street at the gas station. I said, that is sick.
But this man, he ain't right.
Well,
they said Caroline was talking about all kinds of sick mess he was doing when they were growing up. But they still confirmed him.
Yeah, when you were putting frogs in a blender.
Yeah, he was
them up.
Animals in blenders and stuff. He ain't right. You can tell he ain't right.
Yeah, when you found a damn worm in his brain, You know he ain't human.
But that's the kind of people Donald Trump pick, and we're
You look
supposed
at
to have confidence in.
When you look at him, you're looking at a true Neanderthal.
Yeah,
that's a Neanderthal for you right there.
That
You
ain't
can see it all over him.
Yeah, he ain't all there, and it's very obvious when you even listen to him talk. He's not all there.
No, you're right about that.
But we're supposed to have confidence in the president, the person that put a man like that in a position. Come on. No, I don't trust Donald Trump. I don't trust his administration through a war. I think this thing is going to be a disaster.
Look how quick, but I'm looking at how quickly in his presidency this is all coming out. And like I tell you, this fool thought this was going to be like just real smooth, just going to be real smooth. This shit ain't smooth at all. You just thought you're going to go over there and play in your little imaginary library, go run around and do your little golf. And then you have people when in private meetings praise you and tell you how wonderful and grand you are and stuff. And when they dropped them bombs just before his birthday, that's when it clicked in for me. I said, nothing ain't gonna ever go right for Trump ever again. From henceforth, nothing is not gonna go right for him. It's gonna be a problem.
The way I see it, True Royal, the Most High put the best people in place for these final days.
Yes.
He put idiots in charge that are gonna have no chance of saving this
because it speeds up the process. You're right. It speeds up the process to get where we got to go. Because we're ready to go.
Yeah. And he put the kind of people there that have no chance of saving this place. They can't do it. He put idiots in charge. And I love it. Good. Maybe the faster we can be done with this hellhole that we're in. Okay, so let me just say my thank yous to everybody that gave your donations. One of many ancestral reflections. Thank you for the super chat. He think he's the Messiah. He's the global yeah. You know what? Donald Trump really believe he's bigger than life, and he's not. I guess when he looks in the mirror in the morning, he's got to convince himself that he's so great. There is no greatness in Donald Trump. There is no greatness in nobody he picked in his cabinet. There's no greatness in any of them folks. Monica Gregory, thank you for the super sticker. Daniel Meyer, thank you for the 26-month membership. G. Bowman Jr., let me go down here a bit. Thank you for the super chat. Sister Lisa Cabrera, check your Patreon DM. Thank you. I will. One of many ancestral reflections, preamble, and prelude of collapse. Yeah, it ain't gonna be long. Donald Trump is gonna accelerate this thing, y'all. He's gonna accelerate this whole thing with his foolishness. Yeah, well, America, you're gonna get exactly what you deserve. You're gonna get exactly what you deserve. Emma, hold on. Horton, thank you for the super sticker. No, this place is going to get exactly what they deserve. You remember, when people go to war now, you're not coming back. Very few are going to come back. Yeah, I remember that, Alana B. Yeah, Donald Trump did not put his hand on the Bible when he got sworn in. I noticed that. Daniel Meyer, thank you for the super sticker. Justin B., thank you for the super chat. Blessings, Sam. Thank you. Oh, Christy Noam. Yeah, I remember hearing about she killed her dog. And she was saying that Joe Biden's dog commander should be shot too. Woman, she's a weirdo to me. I don't know. She seems strange to me. I think they call her Ice Barbie. She don't look like no Barbie to me. She needs to do something about all them pock marks she got all over her
marks
face.
all in her face.
It looks awful, and you can do something about that. You don't have to walk around looking like that. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Thank you so much, True Royal, for being here, and thank you to everybody in the chat. We're definitely going to have to do this again. We are never going to run out of topics, are we?
No, we're not. I just thank y'all in the beginning, the people that put their prayers out for my grandchildren. I pray they are out of the country right now. So I pray that they will be able to get back to America. And hopefully I will get my grandchildren next week. I'll let y'all know if I have them with me.
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right. Thank y'all very much.
Yes. All right, y'all. Shalom, family.
Ashe to the royal family.